There are a lot of these conversations about Gen Z starting trends on social media, but then you look into it a little further and you realize that this has been a trend since millennials were the natives of the internet. And this time, it's a trend called Sadfishing. They warn that this trend may be a sign of serious psychological issues. Basically, it's the same thing as vague booking, which
oh my gosh,
I was not aware of. But vague booking refers to content posted on Facebook or other platforms written in a deliberately ambiguous and vague manner. Such content is not easily interpreted. If people in that social media network want to understand the communication,
they have to message you.
They have to engage with the poster. So you post something that's kind of emo.
My heart is broken.
Yeah, you post something kind of emo, and then you hope that someone will DM you and be like, "What's wrong, bro? You okay?" Vague booking has been a term for a very long time. I even saw a Reddit post, vague booking, on r/ask women over 30. This says, I personally find it annoying when I ask the person what's going on and I get a vague, evasive answer back.
You know
if the person didn't want me to know their troubles, they should have used that menu on Facebook posts where you can control exactly who sees the post.
The point is there's a certain type of internet poster. It's most, right? There is a level of dopamine that comes with sharing your thoughts, especially when you're feeling emotionally tumultuous, and you get a release from posting it, but then you don't want all of the flack that comes from posting it.
Yeah.
It's like if the internet had post-nut clarity.
Well, the Gen Z version of this is posting like a black screen on your Instagram story and you say like, don't HMU. Or if you change your profile picture on Twitter to just black and you get rid of your screen name and you say like, don't message me.
I am of the opinion that the reason there is so much mental instability and emotional instability amongst millennials is due to all of the emo lyric away messages that your significant other would put up, and then you have to sit there and wonder if it's about you.
Or you would put you said you like put an emo song on your MySpace profile that's supposed to like send everyone a message that you're in the dumps.
But if you put up a sad song lyric away message, I dated a girl who did this all the time.
Tell us about your trauma.
Emotional terrorism. Every bit of it. Okay?
Well, was it ever based in reality, or was she just trying to get attention from other people? Was she trying to get you to like notice and respond to it?
She's a bit of an emotional terrorist. Yeah. So such is life.
Sadfishing is emotional terrorism. It says the habit of sadfishing is defined as, quote, the tendency of social media users to publish exaggerations of their personality to generate sympathy. It could also be crying in a TikTok or
that's okay. So this
trauma
is actually,
dumping.
What's weird about that is I feel like those are different things. Like when you post, like, okay, I'll tell personal stories, or at least somewhat personal stories here. Certainly I've gone into detail about things that have happened in my life, and somehow that feels less terrifying than putting it to text. There's something almost more final because it's harder to misinterpret what I'm saying.
Sure.
We all know that the whole point of social media is that it's a deconstructionist machine, meaning that somebody can read the most detailed thing you've ever written and take away something completely aside from the point of whatever you were saying.
I like pancakes. I didn't know you hated waffles.
Exactly. Okay. So when I'm telling a story verbally, it's a lot harder to misinterpret, or at least not if you're acting in good faith. It's a lot harder to misinterpret.
But it's also, it's more ephemeral if you're saying it on a live streamed podcast.
Yes.
And people can see your facial expressions and understand the context of why you brought it up. But I think the point of sadfishing is to get people to worry about you because you have like parasocial relationships on social media.
There have been times where I've typed out things that were bothering me, and I almost
just delete it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of like they say, like, if you're angry, write a letter, wait a week to send it. Right?
Yeah, this is why, like, for the most part, I'm never going to get into back and forth exchanges with people who misinterpret things that I say on social media, because if they've misinterpreted it, either they weren't intending to, or they were intending to, and you're never going to reach common ground with them anyway.
Correct.
But research found that many sad fishers display anxious attachment. It concluded that this may not be triggered by an acute perceived lack of social support, but rather may be more strongly related to the persistent trait of anxious attachment. One psychologist stated, "This person is putting something that's kind of vague or sounds frankly a little ominous or something sad that it basically gets people to feel sympathy for you. My friends who are close to me know what's going on with me. They know what my daily life is. If you're putting anything on social media, what is your motivation for what you need or want people to know who are not in your close circle? What is your reason for posting? What's your motivation for posting something for the whole world to see?" And I think this is just what people don't give any thought to now, is the reason why they're saying anything, because social media just lends to encouraging self-disclosure, even to the point where it's self-destructive, because obviously, you know, the people who follow you are not all your friends or family members. They don't actually care about what you're going through.
Yep. Also, I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of times I'll type something out. I don't want your opinion. I don't want it. I want to type it out. You want the feeling that comes from posting it, but then you realize, look, I don't actually want the opinions of a bunch of people on this topic. I just wanted to kind of get my feelings or thoughts in order, put them to paper, sort it out, and then go on about my life. I am not so narcissistic to believe that anybody even actually cares.
I think this is like when it's like drunk texting millions of people. Mm-hmm. It's like drunk texting the entire world.
Yeah.
It's very self-destructive. And that, like, drunk texting is something I never even understood in the first place, because if I've been drinking, the last thing I want to do is look at a phone.
It was worse when I was like taking Ambien.
Yeah.
Ambien messages.
I mean, that's like people have literally no memory of what they're doing.
The amount of shit that I would type out.
Roseanne Barr being
the
number one
amount of
example.
Stuff that I would say and type and then get done and be like, what the fuck was I talking about?
And
but
then,
in the moment,
you
it
know,
is the most real thing in the world to you.
You know what's most infuriating is that if someone like vague books or sad fishes or whatever it is you want to call it, that's something like vaguely like trying to make people think that they're in danger or that they're a danger to themselves, and you actually do something about it, like if you actually call in a welfare check on them, then they see you as the bad guy, like for even caring or thinking that they were serious, which I think I've actually been in one of those situations where I actually did have to call the police because I saw someone posting things like that, and then they got mad at me. And it's like, I was left with no other choice. Like, you're going to act like your life is in danger and expect me to just keep scrolling. Another said, "We've seen sad fishing posts that actually had to make calls and do welfare checks about. Those of us who know the person or a colleague, we do a welfare check because they're so concerning." They've seen sad fishing occur across many different age groups and platforms, and a variety and intensity of it depending on the platform used. On some platforms, it's more static, meaning it's just a post as opposed to something like TikTok where you can post videos. Some are even more chilling. If you just see a post and it's a phrase or two with pictures, or it's someone saying they're sad, that's hard enough. But when you have a video-based social media platform, you can see them, you can hear the cadence of the person's voice. It's very dramatic, and that's more impacting. And I guess that's where it comes in with people crying in their car on TikTok and trauma dumping about everything that's going wrong in their life. And it's just like, I know that it's a cry for help, but it doesn't exactly evoke sympathy from me.
I don't even know if it's a cry for help. It's just a weird modern day emotional release tool. It's not even a cry for help would be deeper than that, I feel like. If it led to more drastic consequences, it would be a cry for help. But I don't see it that way most of the time.
I mean, I just feel like there's something inauthentic about about crying in a TikTok for a bunch of strangers.
If you do it, now if you send that video or that text to a specific person, that means that you're looking to connect with someone.
Yeah.
A person, not everyone. It's narcissistic to think that you should be able to connect with everyone about something so intimately personal.
But it's so inherently impersonal to post that for thousands of people.
I get it. Like, I have random thoughts that I would like to share sometimes that I often do. Like, I bet you if I looked at my drafts on Twitter, there would be at least one thing in there that would be like something that I definitely am like very happy that I didn't post. Right?
Okay, well, do you have an example?
I wanted to see if I could see if there's anything in my drafts.
Most of my drafts are like things that I thought were too controversial or I wasn't articulating it properly.
That's usually my issue as well. Yeah.
Do you see anything?
No, nothing of
or nothing that you are willing to tell us about exactly.
Oh, here's one. Not really the same. It says, nothing is more frustrating for me during the show than my brain not catching up to the point of discussion and not being able to remember the name of an actor, details of a past story, or the year or title of a movie that I'm trying to recall mid-thought. It's something that happens in waves. My focus and recall will be really sharp for a period of time, will suddenly fall off.
I have some drafts here. Yeah. They're not Sadfishing. One said, I'm sorry, but calling for civility in political discourse is performative and gay. Another one said, if a girl tells you she's really into reading, just make sure she's not a porn addict.
There you go.
If you could, this was one of the tweets that you ghost wrote. If you could stop being a cunt and start serving cunt, that would be great.
Should have posted that one. I'm a great tweet ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Rick C says, that's from drugs, Brett. Tell me about it, bro.
If you ask a woman for her Snapchat instead of her number, you are a man-child.
Also, I do want to point out, Rick says that's from drugs, Brett. I think what it is also like we go a lot of random places in our discussion, and it's one thing if you're talking about a specific topic and you can't remember anything, but if we go from talking about Kim Kardashian to some random movie, I think it can be forgiven if you don't remember an actor's name off the top of your head. Right then and there, most of the time.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that for
99% of the time,
for the most part, my memory is fairly good. But a lot of times, it is about my brain not being able to catch up to me in the moment.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I definitely notice there are people who post like just a photo of their hospital bracelet.
I posted a bunch when my finger got.
Well, yeah, but that's the point, right? You showed people actually what happened instead of just posting a picture of your hospital bracelet with no caption, no explanation or context whatsoever, so that people would flood your comments, like just like asking you if you had a terminal illness or something. Like, I've definitely seen people do that, or they post like a photo of, I saw a girl post a photo of herself inside an ambulance once with no explanation whatsoever.
Vague-bulancing.
Yeah, literally. Like, I know that sometimes it's a sob story, sometimes it's a genuine cry for help, but overall, if you're doing this as an adult, like, grow the F up.
Just tell everybody what happened.
And a lot of this is because people don't have friends. Thank you.
Yeah, quit being a cunt and start serving cunt, would you?
Yeah, if you have a problem, you need to talk about it with somebody in your real life. And unfortunately, because people are so isolated now, they either post something about it or they decide to go to therapy, which can also turn into something equally self-destructive.
Yep.
So maybe this is just an outpouring of therapy culture.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.